it be known.
Good morning. Happy sunrise.
Happy sunrise.
Where you going?
The sun didn't rise, but
No, I
I
guess
bought this for Jamaica, and
Jeez, I forgot. You
we
did.
ain't going no more.
No. Were you just going to
Scooper.
wear it around the house?
Yeah, real comfortable vibes, you know.
We got to book another trip, guys. I'm really thinking about it. I don't know. We got to get out in the sun.
Yeah, it looks horrendous out.
Yeah.
It was like hailing on us on the way to the gym this morning.
Yeah, I'm not down with this winter skin. Although I guess it's more appealing for TikTok.
The algorithm. Yo, what do we got here? What do we got? We got
Yeah,
something
today
different.
we got some avocado toast with some scrambled egg whites and spinach and beef strips. And, we got a fruit bowl this time. So who's just going to randomly, pick a mandarin and just, start to peel it during the podcast? I don't know. We're working on it. Still on the same platform. As you can tell, we're still undecided.
I know. It's such a hard decision, y'all.
I know we said it twice that we're going to do it, but I don't know.
It's not even like we're big yet, so it wouldn't matter. But it's
Yeah.
just the back pace of other people figuring out, you guys figuring out where we're at.
Yeah.
But you know what I was thinking? I could just tag the new one. Okay, I'm gonna tag the new one in this episode, and we're gonna possibly go over there.
Dip our toes in it? Like you post on both pages for a bit? I don't know.
Because I think the right thing to do would be to upload all the old. Okay, this is kind of.
Yeah, it's joking you. It's not. You look like you hurt your neck at the gym.
But yeah, no, I think it would be good because, it would. I gotta upload. We should take our time with it because I still gotta upload the old ones. It would make sense to do that.
That's true.
Instead of just jumping to the new one here.
To be continued, I guess.
We shall see. We shall see. Because they gotta get the old sauce too.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta see where we started off. I kind of want to look back on the old ones. With the old mic quality, I feel like that's just when we moved to the mics, I feel like that was the craziest improvement.
Yeah, we gotta step it up again, but who knows when?
Yeah.
Who knows how? Oh, you know what I was thinking today? I was thinking I could set it up in the kitchen to show us whipping.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna do that, but maybe on the next one, y'all, you get a little blooper intro.
Yeah, that'd
of
be
what
cool.
we're making.
Soon we're gonna get a table. I feel like that's coming.
Well, yeah,
up
that's
very
next.
soon.
Actually, yeah, that's
So
gonna
we're-
upgrade. That's gonna.
And
be a
we're
good
gonna
upgrade.
relocate to a table because this is just for the back. It's
Strenuous.
not. Yeah.
I was
All right.
thinking
What do you feel like starting off with today?
All right. Well, today we gotta continue on, y'all, man. Just for a little minute because I'm done with the internet. I'm done. I really was looking at people and thinking that, let's say, for instance, a dude, I'm just going to call him as I see it. Motherfucking Wes Watson, dope motherfucker, pure message, helped me with a lot, you know what I mean? Big part of my fitness, I was already working out for a year before I found him, but really never missing. He really instilled in me the idea to do it every day and fuck the compromising, you know? And so super thankful for that shit. He really instilled in me to get rid of all the vices. Super thankful for that shit. I can sit here and say I don't even smoke. I don't drink anymore. I don't fucking, you know what I mean? Cigarettes out the window. And then you find out, that the dude is on steroids. Or, you know what I mean? It's someone that tells you to work out, you're like, oh, yeah, man, I'm just going to keep working out and gaining muscle. And then you realize that this dude's on steroids. Or you realize, I'm seeing reviews online of people saying that they paid him thousands of dollars for, a 20-minute phone call and no follow-up phone call when it was supposed to be, 2 or 3 other follow-up phone calls. What have you. The stories go on, but it's all that to say that, these online personas and the marketing, let's say, the marketing that people are doing in order to create their livelihood is all based off of lies and just, and just selling it to the viewer. And it's just incongruent. And it amazes me because it's a lot of things. I think, and it just makes me worry about the youth as well because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that these youth are seeing. You brought up Mr. Beast, and we have yet to like research him, but I think there's a lot of things that we're seeing. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are very genuine and very real, but with that being said, I think that a lot of those genuine and real people just don't have the heart to screw people over to get to certain levels in certain places. You know what I mean? So I feel like just leading people down the wrong paths to get in the right rooms with people to then take it even a level further is what people are doing. And I think it's ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's like it's a lot of shit out here that ain't real that we perceive as real, but that doesn't mean that certain messages aren't powerful and that can't help people. So I think, as long as you're using your heart and you're using your discernment, it's a way to shift through the madness. But man, a lot of numbers are inflated. A lot of people are not who they say they are. And yeah, I'm just kind of like in a wow state, really.
It can get super discouraging when it's, especially when it's somebody you look up to and you realize that they're not all that they like said that they were. Like, it's okay that everybody obviously is human and we all have like our own faults or whatever, flaws, but it's when you like show yourself to people and you show yourself that you're this perfect person, like for Wes, that wakes up at 2:45 a.m. every day, hits the gym every day first thing in the morning, like doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, is amazing to his wife or whatever, and then you find out that, wait a second, like you're actually doing like steroids, and wait a second, like your ex-wife, like you abused and stuff. It's like,
Came out on interview talking about how he abused her and the trials and tribulations they went through. And of course, everybody's not their past,
no.
but it's almost like him telling the story. It's like you skip over that part. I thought you were being real and congruent and like, you know what I mean? And getting down to really just telling your story and stuff. And like you said, yeah.
Yeah, I value people more that are completely upfront about the person that they are or the person that they were. Like, if you were a shitty person, that's completely fine, but kind of be upfront about that. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm like completely perfect and you should be just like me and you should buy my course." And then when you buy their course, they're not even giving you the value that you pay for. Like, that's just crazy to me. I feel like people aren't even honest about their flaws anymore. And then, yeah, it is really concerning for kids because they think that everybody that they're watching is a perfect person with no faults or flaws, that's never done anything wrong. And like, they have to kind of like strive to be exactly like them. And that's not life. Like, it's just never going to be life. And so it's really hard to kind of like, who do you look to now? You're looking online and you're trying to like look for some advice and wisdom, and like everybody you watch, you're like, is this even real, or are they just putting on a complete facade for the cameras? And then you think, well, does it matter if their message is actually pure and if you actually get value from the words that they're saying? And I guess like to a point it doesn't, but I think it's to the point where you're asking people to like pay you and give you their hard-earned money for courses or for services that just aren't really adding up to the amount that you're trying to get from them. You know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing about it is that you're pulling at people's heartstrings. This is where the marketing comes in at. You're telling people that they can get in shape, they're overweight. You're telling people that they can drop the vices, they're alcoholics, they're drug addicts, they smoke cigarettes, and they know they want to stop. So you're pulling at that, and that's what keeps them coming to fight another day and to hear some words of wisdom from you. And then you totally exploit them by, them kind of looking up to you, thinking that they're going to get this value in this, what you say, you hype up the program for them. And then you basically, like, there's people that report back that they got totally ripped off. They didn't even get any service and, got into a little bit of a back and forth with them. And now you get blocked and boom, 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 and all your money's gone. Three
That's
grand down the
insane.
drain.
No.
You know, and I look at it like what Lil Russell said too. Shout out him, an independent artist, dope dude. And he talked about, he has this one bar where he says, used to look up to Lil Wayne, now that nigga look insane. And he said, you know, he looked like he's needs help, look like he's still in pain or whatever. And it's just like, that bar hit me so hard because I really did look up to Lil Wayne like a real goat and a real, like a figure in rap, like a real mentor in the rap industry. And just, you know, how he went on from Cash Money to start Young Money and bring us people like Nicki and Drake and what have you. You know, Lil Wayne is a legend in his own right for the music and stuff. But are you a legend in the community of black people and what you promote in your music? Like I remember when I first got my place in Mississauga, it got to a point where I'm listening to this man's music and I'm like, why is it every song and every other bar talking about bitches, drugs, guns, killing a nigga? I'm like, motherfucker, like, bro, you never gonna grow out of this phase of talking about this stuff? Is this like a cartoon to you? Every song's like you just writing up a story and it just doesn't mean anything to you. This is what you're feeding down to the children's
Doesn't
heads
care.
and shit.
Doesn't care what the message is.
I had to turn that off and turned on Chance the Rapper, freaking acid rap, and just kind of have fun with it, and just I like how he was just
You love
kind of
that
being
album.
playful. Yeah, that album really represents like I think it was that breakthrough of realizing like, yo, what the hell am I listening to? Let me just listen to some shit. I mean, it's not like he wasn't talking about acid and being like,
Yeah, he was on acid.
Yeah, it was called acid rap, but that was the beginning of me kind of being like, I don't need to listen to this gun violence and all of this shit. That, you know, I can make weird music in a sense instead of making music that is just gonna like literally destroy my community and provoke gun violence and strippers and hoes and all this extra shit. But yeah, it's just, it goes deep. Like, see, that's another example of like, okay, I left one problem to go to another dude that's talking about acid and being on acid. He's doing it in a more you know, like
Subtle way.
friggin', yeah, metaphorical way, but it's still the same, still the same shit. And it comes to a point where, you know, I don't know. I think it was hard for me for a long time. I think I'm getting to the point now where I'm like really thinking for myself more, and especially going forward, I know I'm gonna be. But it's like, I think not having a father, not having someone to really show me what to do in situations, even when it's like comes to me and Emily's relationship, I haven't had somebody there to like show me, like, you know, love my mother a certain way, treat her a certain way, and give me a perfect example of that. So, you know, it's just about growing, and I think this is just a big part of growing. But man, the internet, the internet.
Yeah, and like just to go back to the whole like scammers thing, like not to say Wes is a complete scammer. Like I'm sure he does provide value for a lot of people, but like scammers go for the path of least resistance. And so for the people that don't have that much money or maybe have money and they just like are so careless with it, they just don't care if they get like complete value out of their service. Like those are easy targets for him. And like that's if that's what you want to do to get rich, like I personally think it's gross. Like I don't want to be super rich, like live in a huge mansion if I have to walk over like weak vulnerable people to do it.
Yeah.
I want to help those weak, vulnerable people like you say that you do. Like that's what your message is,
Exactly.
but you're not actually doing that.
Helping your people, taking care of your people. You're an online coach. So your people is the people that are paying you to get coached. And we're hearing reports back of like the guy, he paid like 20 grand to pay 10 to go to the mastermind, another 7,500 for 3 months of coaching. And there's literally a video up where he says he got one phone call for 3 months of coaching and paid $7,500.
And he's like, it's cool.
Yeah, and he tries to brush it off as if he's not mad about that.
He said he got all
Bruh.
he needed in that one conversation.
Yeah, you know you mad about that, bro. And then he got talked into paying the 10 grand. This guy obviously has money.
Yeah.
So it's like you got talked into paying the 10 grand just to realize that it wasn't all it cracked up to be either. Mm-hmm. He said that your brand's gonna grow and your business is gonna grow if you come to the mastermind and, you know, pay that fee. didn't get didn't get anything from it. He literally realized. I seen him reply to a comment, and he said he realized that the business that he has, his construction business that he makes millions of dollars off of, was all he really needed.
Yeah.
Like he literally got a
He's
wake up
teaching
call.
himself his life lesson, like going through his business. And it's just like they rely on the story. Like the marketing is all about stories, and stories just aren't real. Like even Drake's video, God's Plan, I think that's the song.
Yeah.
Like where he gave away all the money that the record gave him to make the video. He gave it to people in Miami, first of all. Like, you're from Canada. People over here are struggling too. I don't really know why you went to Miami, but okay. Like, it's just a way to make us be like, oh, Drake, such a nice guy. He gave away all that money. But, like, what does he do on a day-to-day basis for his community anyways? And look at, like, what he's rapping about. He's rapping about pulling up on people, killing them. Drake was from Degrassi Junior High.
Exactly.
Let's never forget. Like, I thought he was really handicapped in that show. I was like, what? He can walk? This is great. Everything's a lie.
Exactly, marketing.
It's just-
and he probably learned.
No.
He probably learned marketing. He probably learned a lot of that from that show.
Yeah.
To be like, I can be whoever I want to be.
Crazy.
I just need to put on the act and do the marketing.
He's an actor.
And make sure that it's like it pulls some strings, some heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
That's where probably the whole Drake idea came from him. I'm gonna be this soft, tender, loving rapper.
'Cause I think he raps
works
in
his
the
way
show.
Yeah, I think he did a few raps and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, but how do you win people over? It's like, oh, the guy in the wheelchair rapping.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh my gosh,
I'm
guys.
telling you, it's marketing. It's deep.
It's in front of our face, and we're just soaking it up and just thinking. You just get so caught up, you forget it's marketing and that it's not all just the big lie.
Yeah, it's so fucking deep. Like, what were we even saying? I think, the most important thing I feel like we're taking away from this is that marketing is good and marketing works. And social media and all of these characters and actors and artists and whoever are a clear, clean example of that. And you just have to decide. I think it goes back to what we were saying, where it's like how far you're willing to take it and how you hold your integrity on the idea and the subjects and the acts that you do. You know, you don't want to be I think the biggest people, the people that are able to get the most success out of social media stuff are the people that are going to do the craziest shit and are going to compromise themselves the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether that's behind closed doors or out in the public, whatever. You know what I mean? We don't want to get too deep into that. But we got to learn to use marketing as a tool to bring light to the right and the most, the real positive things that people are trying to push and stuff. So if you're pushing something positive, you want to learn to market it and that's just it, because people are going to market all of these scams and all of these, all this music that is not going to help anybody or help
No
the community.
value.
So we need to market the good stuff.
Yeah.
And make it good, make it compelling, make it, and use their tactics against them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Use the same tactics just for good instead of evil. But yeah, I don't know. But no, I was thinking about, like, obviously what you were saying about, like, not having a male role model in your life. And, like, that's the thing, too. A lot of people have the same situation. And they're looking constantly to these figures that are out online in front of us to, like, look up to and to follow in their footsteps, because you're not just going to grow up and never look for that male role model or that female role model, that whatever's missing in your life. You're still going to continuously search for it, whether you know it or not. And so it's, like, so important to just be so mindful of what you consume, not just healthy food, but make sure you're getting healthy content and healthy, like, information and healthy music. Like, just today in the gym, I was listening to gospel music working out. Like, I'm like, why have I not been doing this before? Like, I've been listening to Megan Thee Stallion, like, all of them to get myself pumped up. But, like, you can get pumped up by, like, good words. And, like, it just made me feel more, like, positive about myself. Like, it felt like, even though I'm not, like, a super religious person, I just, like, believe God is in all of us. We are all God. Everybody's God. So it's just, like, I felt, like, more empowered just listening to that. And it's like, that's a small little step that you can take even if you don't like to listen to gospel music, like listen to just beats, like lo-fi beats, like positive vibrational beats.
Yeah.
It's like really all about everything you consume. And it's like, yeah, like I don't know. I think we're both learning day to day, because where I did have my family or my parents in my life, like there was things that they didn't do in front of me that, and now I'm in a relationship and I don't really know how to navigate because I never really saw it. Like I think I said before, my parents like never fought in front of me. So now anytime we're in a fight, it's just like, this is new to me. I don't know how to deal with it. Like I don't even think it's natural. I don't think you're supposed to do it because I never saw it. So it's like life is just such a big learning curve, and you really have to come from it with new eyes. Like don't come from any situation like you know everything. And I feel like that's why we're constantly being like, yeah, we said this last episode, but now this is where we're at right now. Like we're constantly kind of not retracting our statements, but growing from our statements.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I almost feel like, geez, are we doing them too quick? Because, like, the growth factor is like, sometimes it's so exponential and it's so fast that it's like, fuck, that
Yeah.
last episode, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Like even
what
our
did we say
last
last week?
episode. Yeah, right? It's like
Yeah.
our last episode definitely ruffled some feathers just within our own relationship, because it's just something that we've
Right.
never really talked about. Like,
Or ever thought you were supposed to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
or ever heard of anybody else talking about it. We're talking about the child free, and have you thought about not having a child? We all think so high and mighty about, let's have a child, let's friggin' start a family, let's have 5 of them. You know, we're all so head first into that direction that we never ever sit back and just be like, excuse me, what if we don't have a child? What if we don't take that route? Or at least not, right away. You know what I mean? There's so many different aspects to it. And I think we were just having like a crazy cool kind of recaption of that, because it honestly was a tough thing to talk about. So when we finished that episode, it was basically like this sort of like uproar of like not wanting to actually talk about
yeah,
it.
it's like we just exposed all the roots, and then it was just like raw. Like,
Yeah, like it was deep.
I don't know. It's definitely a therapy session for all the couples out there. If you're looking to really dive deep into your relationship, maybe start a podcast. Like, that'll definitely ruffle some shit up. Once you turn off the camera, you'll be like, what the hell did you just say? Like, but
No, for real.
it's like that sometimes. Like, there's just a lot of things that you just go on your day-to-day life and just assume that the other person's on the same page, or assume that like the other side of the story doesn't need to be explored because you're so set in your ways.
Yeah.
But I think like everything does need to be explored. Like,
Yeah, that's what we're learning with these.
Yeah.
Is like, that's what we were just talking about right before we got onto this episode. Is that like, this is the beauty of, like you were just saying that. It's like, this is the beauty of these podcasts, is that you get to explore topics, like you said, like you didn't know how to fight. Like you never seen your parents arguing or fighting because they kind of keep it under wraps. So it's just like you don't understand how that, you know what I mean? Like you never talk to your mom about like, it's just like we don't know about these topics, or, like I was saying, like we never heard of anybody ever expressing that they didn't want kids. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's almost like you're going against humanity and going against the Bible if you say, I'm just going to skip out on this part of life. Like, so it's just like, I think it's interesting because, we got into really interesting, different topics and ways of thinking about it. Like the price of daycare, for instance, or just like how the world's going to shit. And now
To
they're talking
shit.
about disease X. Like,
come on, guys, stay woke on that. We'll keep you updated on this as it progresses. If it gets more crazy, then we're changing the podcast to Disease X discussions, like something like that.
I'm sure we're going to be in there. That's crazy. You know what I mean? It'll probably do numbers during the next pandemic that's on its way, because at the end of the day, I knew these people was not joking. These people weren't done.
No.
They seen COVID was a tester run, friggin' a drill to see how compliant these motherfuckers will be. How many jabs can we get out there and they take them full-heartedly and not worry about it. And this is another example of marketing. Fearing us, pulling at our heartstrings to think that we're going to hurt the people around us, and and you know what I mean, hurt ourselves if we don't get this vaccine, what have you. What I don't even think I'm allowed to say that word on here. It gets flagged.
Our video gets shut down.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's so much that goes into this whole thing where it's like we gotta be mindful. We gotta be watching our surroundings, watching what we're taking in, not listening to, CNN and all these different news channels too much. But yeah, I feel like I said too much because they're gonna be like, what
You're
the
like,
fuck?
let's just scrap the whole episode.
But yeah, it's a lot of things that you have to think about before it's just like, let's just have a kid. Like, it's like, are the financial situations straight? Are you where you want to be at mentally, physically? Like, you know what I mean? Are you ready to pour into a kid? You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have, I think a big part for me and Emily too, like we talking about it, is just like, is there family around? Is my mom or her mom around? My dad lives in New York, so it's like he wouldn't be able to ever accommodate the whole kid experience. You know what I mean? He was never around for me to understand how to be a father. I think that was another thing I had to talk to her about as well.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I don't have an example of a father. I never had one. I feel a little bit like I feel like I'm going to be a deer in the headlights in the situation. Like, I got to see how my grandfather was a grandfather to me. He wasn't a father to me. My mom loves to say, like, yo, your grandfather was there. I had a stepdad. He had his own kids. It's like, it's hard to say, like, oh, my stepdad was a good example of being a father, when it's like, but he was a father that wasn't a father because he was being a father to me.
That's so crazy.
Like, it's deep.
And like even now, like once you were out of his life, it's not like the relationship was the same as like a regular father and son relationship, which you would hope that the father would keep in more contact with you day to day, which like I also didn't experience. So it's like, I don't really know what that's like either. I can't give you any pointers. Like,
it's deep. It's a lot that goes into it. Like, that was one of my like thought processes too. It's like, am I still traumatized by not even having my father in the world, that I don't want to bring that pain and just frequency into, I could be over trying just because I didn't have one there. So I'm like, oh, I got to do this perfectly. I got to freaking make sure that this kid's,
and your kid can resent you for that. Like,
exactly.
It's just
so
about
deep.
not passing on the trauma to your children and making sure that you're set in not just mindset, but obviously financially set, and obviously bring it into a world that's not going to be like, I don't want to have a COVID baby. I know a lot of people.
No, a disease X baby.
Whatever. Like, whatever.
Well, we have an X-Men now.
We don't even know what it is yet. Like, is what you're telling me? They said, get ready. We don't know what it is, but it's going to be 100 times deadlier than COVID.
It's too much. It's too much. It's actually too much.
A lot of things to think about. It's all about constantly thinking, just constantly trying to progress on ideas that you thought that you 100% knew and you don't want to like evaluate or don't want to think anything more about. Just open that jar up and just check it out. Like, it's like food. Like when you were a kid, you thought something was so disgusting, and then you try it as an adult and you're like, hey, this is actually good. It's like same with our thoughts. Like we have so many thoughts that are set in our mind, and I think we should really evaluate some of them because some things may have changed.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that's
it.
Is that it?
That's all.
Some things may change, some things may differ, but let's keep an open mind.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a little poem.
I know, right? But let's stay Swiffer.
No, okay.
I'm
Never mind, guys.
But no, I'm trying to think. Were we gonna talk about anything else? I think pretty much that's it. Yeah. So y'all have a good one. We're gonna finish our breakfast and get to work, get grinding. Take care.
Yeah. Enjoy your day. Positive thoughts, positive vibes.
Positive
Love
action.
and light.
Positive action. Let's take action towards our goals and stuff. All right, we out.
Okay, bye. Always drag on. What do you think, Goob?